All right, and welcome back to Live with Lighthouse. We're really excited to be back this week and kick off our August schedule. So thanks to everyone who's joined today. My name is Joe Ray. I'm the marketing lead here at Lighthouse Technology Services. And welcome back to Live with Lighthouse, our show where we guide you to the technology and talent solutions to drive your business forward. Really excited for a good slate this August. Later this month, we've got some good guests coming up. We're kind of keeping the topics this month around attracting and retaining technology talent. How do you build effective teams? Next week, we have a guest, Kendra Brim from K Savannah Consulting, coming in to talk about how to integrate DEI into your company culture, make that part of everything you do. Excited to have Sarah Miller from M&T Bank later this month, M&T Tech Department. Sarah is in charge of recruiting a lot of the technology development program interns and building that talent pipeline for M&T. So really excited to learn from her expertise there. And today, I'm really excited to introduce one of our team leads here at Lighthouse Technology Services. He's the head of our IT services division and leads all of our systems administrators and the whole crew that supports a lot of small and mid-sized businesses across Western New York. And I'm excited to introduce him right here. Jason Gunnells. Jason, thanks for coming on and welcome to the show.
Yeah, Joe, thanks for having me.
Great to have you here. And was wondering if you could just start off a little bit and tell everyone about your career path to Lighthouse and a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, for sure. So in December, it'll be 3 years at Lighthouse. I am the director of managed services for Lighthouse. We kind of support up near 20 businesses in the local area as far as their infrastructure, maybe help desk projects, stuff like that. Before that, I actually was I was a systems engineer and then also the IT director at the Buffalo News for 5 years, where I was mainly focused on infrastructure there, migrating them from the old to the new. They were all physical environment. We kind of switched them over to virtual and kind of up all their kind of technology along the way and kind of streamlined processes. And then before that, actually was at UB for 8 years, where that's where I kind of learned to like move up the ranks a little bit. I started out as like, just a lower level, like junior systems administrator, kind of learning how things work.
Nice.
And then kind of moved up to like a senior level and then kind of ran that department. And then lastly, before that, I kind of started out my whole career at a local company. A lot of people know PCI, where I was a vendor on site at HSBC Bank, where it was actually when it was in the tower that we currently our offices in now. So that was a great way to like get into technology and really learn like how things work and like working with people and going from floor to floor and stuff like that. So it's been a nice journey. So it's really helped us kind of grow this managed services division. So
yeah, it's a big full circle moment. Obviously, HSBC was the anchor tenant of Seneca One here downtown Buffalo for a long time. PCI now actually a company that we're good friends with, 2 floors up from us on floor 30 and Lighthouse on 28. Really cool to see how the tech hub has come together and really brought a lot of the community together into the same place. And great to be working with you, Jason, and the whole team here at Lighthouse too. Just for the uninitiated in the audience here today too, maybe could you tell us a little bit more about some of the services that you offer to small, mid-sized businesses and how you're making a difference with their technology environments?
Yeah, for sure. So we actually don't. It's funny. What we've kind of built is services that help local businesses in the fact that we're not just like a square box. So a lot of what the services that we offer it's kind of really revolves around what the business needs are. So a lot of times we meet with the business and it could be maybe they need help desk, so we could provide help desk, which is our guys are their IT guys, and then we can kind of triage it into do they want maybe us to monitor their backend infrastructure, monitor their email. We do a lot of 365 management, and then it could be where there's like a kind of a little bit of both. Maybe they have one IT guy that maybe does a lot of the incoming, issues, and then we're the second level. We can offer those services, and then or it's the whole bundle or anything like that. So a lot of what we offer is really we want to be the technology for those companies, and we want to transition into more of a partner for them and not just like we're the IT guys. So it's like we want to be like an extension of their business, right? They do what they do, maybe it be manufacturing or medical or something like that, and then we take care of the technology. So our goal is really to like take the stress off of the day to day, and if something comes in, they should be able to put a ticket in, and we kind of can go from there. A lot of our businesses, once we get in, we tend to find technology that's maybe a little old, or maybe processes that they're kind of been using for years and it's worked, but maybe we can save time or money. So we kind of come in and then build projects around kind of ways to get them
Yeah.
into the now and stuff like that. So a lot of project work, migrations to the cloud, and for maybe applications or email and stuff like that. So a lot of just really helping businesses get to where they need to, because a lot of people don't know, right? So it's our job to kind of provide the kind of the baseline for where they're at, and then we're kind of where they're looking to go.
Yeah, and that's a great point. And you even mentioned the word partner in there too, and that comes up a lot when we're talking about managed services and something as sensitive as IT and technology, and how just woven that is into the fabric of a business and everything that they do. What's that relationship like when you start coming on board with a new client, you start kind of learning their technology, what's the relationship building like, and how do you build that trust off the bat?
Yeah, it really is just, when you sit in, you give those kickoff meetings or the initial meetings of like kind of, like I was kind of hinted on before, was you really get a feel for where they're at. Once we get in, we get a feel for that, and then we also talk, with the higher ups, and if they have IT folks on site, kind of talk to where they're trying to get to, because some of the struggles is they don't have enough people, or they don't know where to go to next. Sometimes they're just looking for guidance, and it's one of those things like all we can do is offer like options, and then if they want to go down that road, we can help them with that. But the relationship, I feel like, really kicks in that partnership is when like the users start to see the transition into these newer technologies, right? So it's like maybe you're going 365, so you're using like Teams and SharePoint and stuff like that, or maybe they've used an old system and then we upgrade them to new servers or something like that, and things are quicker. Or even it could be as simple as new laptops or like hardware for like users, like. You could probably attest to this, right? You get a new laptop, it's just things are so much smoother and things are integrated now much better into your everyday stuff. So it's kind of, that's when you start to see the partnership, and then like a trust is built. And then it's like when they open tickets, they know that we're going to take care of it. They get to know the guys. All our guys are local, so they remember the names. They're like, oh, he helped me out. So that's what we're trying to create, is like that, like hometown Buffalo feel. And it's just like, we're here if you guys need anything. And nothing's off the table, right? If they're looking to maybe transition into something different, or like, hey, we got this new system we're looking at, can you guys take a look to see if it would work, in our environment? So we love those kind of talks, because it's like we're at the table before decisions are made, so we can kind of better help the business to make those big decisions.
Yeah, and those talks might be, like you were saying earlier too, might be with an in-house IT person or team, or it might be with someone who's not in a technical role, but has to kind of oversee technology in that as well. So I imagine it's a lot of kind of interpersonal skills and just kind of figuring out, what the relationship's going to look like, how the communication goes, things like that. Were there any lessons from earlier in your career? Obviously, you talked about working with a company like PCI, with you, and then with you being in-house and things like that as you progressed up your career. Were there any learning lessons for you that kind of helped you see the value and kind of that communication style, and informed your communication style when you're going through those initial relationships?
Yeah, really. I mean, a lot of what we built here at Lighthouse with in the IT services is really built around what my guys have been through and what I've been through. And it's a lot of empathy and stuff like that. Like you and I've talked about this offline, but it's one of those things where there's a shift, right? It's like people are having issues, like they might be frustrated, but like, technology is not their thing. That's not their job. So it's like, it's really our goal is to kind of make them feel comfortable, like understand what they're going through, and then kind of help them out with that. And then maybe actually kind of show them maybe how that might not happen again, or maybe ways they can do things better. So that kind of customer service goes a long way. And I feel like it's attested to kind of our growth. We're getting referrals and stuff like that from other companies that were referred by companies we currently work with. It's because of that type of customer service, right? We follow up, we understand that kind of stuff that they're going through. So that's probably what I learned the most, is kind of the personal level that you get on with someone that's having an issue, or you talk to them, it might be like, how's your day, or the stuff like that goes a long way with in IT. And we're trying to make that shift for people that maybe had different providers before, and now we're taking over. So it's kind of one of those things we want to make that a full experience. And that's why I said the partnership as a whole thing is huge for us.
It is. And you mentioned the word empathy in there too, which I love as well. When you're thinking about something like technology, I'm sure I've used this metaphor around the office too, and I always like going back to it, that My wife and I, whenever we're talking about marriage and trying to work through something, it's never one of us versus the other of us. It's us versus the problem, and trying to keep focused that way. And yeah, same kind of thing here. It's a marriage between an external team and an internal team, and trying to find the right solution to the problem, and working through it together. So imagine within that too, that's a lot of, obviously it's not just you doing all this, as the Lighthouse Managed Services team, you're recruiting a team. You're looking for people who can have those same kinds of, communication style, and have positive interactions with clients, but also have the technical know-how as well. So wondering if we could get into a little bit too, like when you're recruiting for the team and looking at, potential team members to bring on to Lighthouse, what are some of those things that you're looking for when you're meeting with technologists from around the area?
Yeah, and I kind of hinted on before. It's like I really noticed a shift over the past couple of years, and it's mainly I don't know if it was after COVID, but it was really like users and businesses seem to need a little more like TLC, I guess. So it's like
Mhm.
we can find guys that have obviously the skills, and through resumes and meeting with them and kind of getting a feel for what they did before, we can get a feel for where their skills land. But it's really finding out that customer service aspect of it is like, how they handle like, following up with customers, or if people have issues, if they deal with someone that's in a stressful situation, or having a rough day, and are kind of like a little angry at the technology issue they might be having. So it's real. I find our guys that we find, if they are really good at customer service, the skills are important, but it's mainly like that piece gets you to the next level. So it's like, if you can work with the person and calm them down and solve their issue, and it's a great experience for them. Like, obviously the technology piece is big in the background for us, but that's what the shift for us has really been, the customer service piece. So, and it's with our team is like, we've hired like higher level skilled guys. So I feel like we save a lot of more time with people that kind of know more. So it's like, those level one tickets get handled a little quicker and stuff like that. So a little bit of a shift, and it's not just the same for all companies. I mean, managed services is, it's different. It's different, its own beast, right? Because you have to know a lot about a lot of companies' infrastructures and the ins and outs. So it's like a lot of our guys are learning every day, because each business is different. So it's knowing someone that can handle like a decent amount of changes, and learning on the fly and stuff like that. So someone has to be like on their toes and stuff like that.
Yeah, they got to be able to roll with it. They've got to be able to
Right.
adapt to uncertain situations. When you're looking and evaluating candidates and such, are you looking for prior experience in an MSP, or are you looking for, hey, what types of projects have they worked on in other settings, and what types of experiences have they had that might translate over? What are you looking for in that technical regard?
That is being that we are an MSP, it is nice if they have current MSP experience, because then they get a feel for like kind of how that works. So that's obviously great, but we don't really just only look for that, because it depends. And listen, MSP aren't for everybody, right? Sometimes people like being the one IT guy at a company, and we understand, and that's fine. But I think of our whole team, two people have worked at kind of a similar environment, but not, like I said, we aren't the same. We've kind of created a different environment. So it's one of those things where I think once our guys get into it, a couple months in, they kind of get a feel for it. But for sure, that experience is great, but it's not, limit it to only people with MSP experience.
Yeah. It's all about finding the right balance, right? You got to find a little bit of everything. So,
for sure.
Mm-hmm. What's been one of the most rewarding things for you, getting to build out the team here? And we brought in a couple new senior level people this year, like you've been saying too. What's been the best part of that experience for you?
Honestly, it's really getting to know the team, but it's also like kind of like guiding my new guys and stuff like that. It's like kind of to what I built, right? So we built this from the ground up. We kind of tore it down, built it up, and it's the most rewarding thing is seeing these things work, seeing these things we set up, saving people time. Our new guys getting into it, being able to help people quicker, that kind of stuff. So everything we kind of built come to fruition, and then as we grow, and then now we're getting referrals, and word of mouth is spreading. So that's huge for us. That just like attests to kind of what we built and kind of what we're growing. So that's huge for me. And it's just, and then as we take on new clients, and it's, Buffalo's a small town. So it's like, someone, you're always one person away from someone else in Buffalo, right? So it's always one of those things where, these local businesses, someone that works there because they know somebody else. And it's just like it's just the Buffalo as a community is one of those things where it's spreading. And I think our guys are enjoying it because it's like, we're taking on different sectors of business, right? Maybe manufacturing, like I kind of hinted on before, medical, it could be law, all that kind of stuff. So it's like, you kind of get a lot, you get a lot in Buffalo with different kind of clients. So it's kind of nice.
Yeah, for sure. We're getting some good love too from the rest of the team Lighthouse on here too. We got Allison chiming in, Go Lighthouse Managed Services team. And a lot of what we talked about too. We got Brenda coming in here. Brenda says, saying, love the human touch and empathy offered by our team, helping our customers with their struggles, right? It's about finding the people who have that type of background too, but also just being a lighthouse and leading the way to people to the solutions. And that takes a lot of technical expertise too. So thanks team for chiming in. Appreciate it. Been a good chat with Jay here. Jay, maybe we can close it out a little bit and talk a little bit more about some of the work that we've been doing this year too. You mentioned a lot about kind of like Office 365 and cloud migrations and things like that too. What are some of the things you're seeing coming up with clients and some things that might be on the radar for a lot more businesses in 2024?
Yeah. So a lot of what we see currently is, obviously a lot of people are like Office 365 now, and there are a few customers coming in that might be still on on-prem Exchange and stuff like that. So working with those companies to kind of get them migrated out to the cloud. A lot of it's for security purposes as well. So like a lot of companies have gone down the cybersecurity insurance route. So they're working with their local provider on kind of the restrictions and where they need to be. And a lot of businesses are kind of finding that they're a little behind the times and they need to kind of get there. So we're always willing to kind of help, add those layers of security so that they can obviously like hit their cybersecurity insurance constraints. And, obviously if something were to happen, they would be covered. So seeing a lot of that. So a lot of just transitioning to like, two-factor, multi-factor for may it be obviously for mails, always a big thing, but obviously other stuff too, VPN, workstations. I mean, a lot of that kind of stuff. It's all like security based, right?
Mm-hmm.
And obviously in another Live with Lighthouse, right? We might talk with another security company a little bit about some of the other stuff going on, but we're just seeing that's a big shift for a lot of these companies now. Is now they got to get security. I want to say security right, but almost like right by security, right? Because it's coming, and so if we can help people, feel a little better at the end of the day, that's kind of our goal. So.
Yeah, exactly. We our first episode of Live with Lighthouse, we talked with Jessica Copeland from Von Schoeneck & King and talked about cyber insurance and a lot of the standard of care that goes into that and some of the things that businesses have to invest in. Two-factor authentication, multi-factor. You mentioned in there as well. I'll drop her whole episode in the comments later for everyone to check that out as well. But that's definitely a big topic coming up. That cybersecurity. I mean, AI is changing everything in the world, and cyber is going to be no different. There's really going to be a lot of uncertainty coming up too, and businesses I think are taking more seriously the constraint of, hey, we have to really make sure that we're embracing a standard of care here. We're investing in the right solutions to be protected and from these things from happening, and if they do, make sure that we have the right solutions in place as well. For a small business who might not have invested in many of those solutions, you talked about two-factor and some other things in the past too. What's really the importance to be investing in those things moving forward and looking towards those solutions?
Really, the importance of a lot of that security stuff is just because the world's changing quickly, and it's like these attacks through email and stuff like that. Obviously, if two-factor is kind of enabled and set up correctly, like if someone tries to compromise your email, obviously that they would have to pass that second form of authentication. So right there, it could save tons of time, right? Someone gets email compromised and sends out email to all these clients, and then stuff happens or money's involved in some sort of like transaction that's requested and it's followed through. So it just can protect companies from like headache, obviously, like and having to deal with the disaster of clients, something maybe happening with that. And then even like if it was like a money thing, it could it cost companies tons of money to like if they get compromised, to get back to where they were before, all that kind of stuff is to kind of prevent that from happening. So
Yeah,
we're also doing a lot of, we do a lot of email type stuff too, to kind of like let internal users know, like, that when they get an email, like it's from the outside, or it's, banner tags and all sorts of stuff. And then, phishing rules that we can put in place so emails don't even make it to, people's inbox, right? The better we can help our clients not accidentally click on emails and stuff like that. And, everyone knows that they get it at their personal emails, like, right. Someone from Gmail's claiming that they know you, or they reach out to you and, you have no idea. So really, really trying to, like, always, like I kind of said before, put the ease on the customer, right? As much as we can. So,
yeah. And that's all from being proactive, right? It's just thinking ahead, making it easy so you don't have to think about so many of those snap decisions, and just being protected all the time. So,
yeah, that's you probably hit it on the head. That's like my biggest line, is like, we got to be more proactive than reactive. So that's kind of how we're trying to build this managed service practice out, is like, can we be proactive for all our clients ahead of time, set up things, put things in place, maybe tools or whatever we have to kind of scan, monitor, all that kind of stuff in place, so that we don't have to be reactive when things happen.
Yeah. And it's the combination of tools and service, and you guys do an incredible job. So really appreciate you coming on the show today and talking through a little bit of just your experience and the team's experience, and what that process looks like, and some of the things coming ahead in terms of managed services, and what companies are going to look out for next year. Sure. As we bring it home here, Jason, want to close it out with our favorite Be a Lighthouse segment at the end here. This show is really in the spirit of that, of helping people and leading them to the solutions they're looking for. So I wanted to give you the opportunity here to close out, to shout out someone who's supported you lately or helped you learn something new.
Yeah, for sure. And I was, as you were talking about it, the whole Be a Lighthouse thing is kind of like probably directly related to kind of how we kind of operate our managed services division. Obviously, like I had talked about empathy and stuff like that, and kind of like being a lighthouse for our customers and kind of showing them the right way. But it's probably like my manager, obviously our CEO, Randy, has really helped me, like kind of help me and was supporting me in building this out. And, and it's not easy, but it's one of those things, like just understanding and kind of help me in times that maybe I was like, didn't know which way to go, and pointing me in the right direction. So like being a lighthouse to me personally is kind of really transitioned over to also us being a lighthouse for our current clients, and, future clients as well.
Yeah. Sets the tone, and it makes a big difference. So Randy's actually going to be out in the community a little bit coming up here in these next few weeks. He's joining a panel with Buffalo and Niagara Partnership next Thursday to talk about the H-1B visa process and how that's affecting talent attraction in Buffalo and Western New York. And then he's going to be a guest on the show in September as well here on Live with Lighthouse. So looking forward to that as well. So shout out, Randy. Thanks for all that you do. And Jason, thanks for coming on the show today. Really appreciate you taking the time to share some of your perspective with everybody, and appreciate you coming on.
Anytime, Joe. Great job. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thanks to everyone who tuned in, and we'll see you back here next week, Friday at 9:30.
Have a good weekend.